A police officer with a clearly prejudiced attitude aimed his weapon at a black female general of the army, whose gaze immediately reflected complete shock at the sudden situation. On a sunny Saturday, when the warm rays of light gently illuminated the spacious shopping center, Central Arcade, fate had prepared an unusual and unsettling spectacle that would soon shock not only the local community, but the entire country. At the center of this event was Major General Ella Rodriguez, a woman whose life had been forged through years of service in the U.S. Army and whose inner strength had been tempered under the most challenging and dangerous circumstances. Ella, who had recently turned 43, was fortunate to find herself on a rare day off, a time when she could indulge in a little shopping therapy. Her stylish, short haircut with a thin silver streak emphasized her confidence and independence, while her simple sports suit paired with comfortable sneakers spoke of someone accustomed to swift, precise actions without ever sacrificing elegance. The shopping center was bustling with life that day. Families with children strolled leisurely through the spacious halls. Young people discussed the latest news, and boutique staff diligently assisted shoppers in selecting new outfits and accessories. Despite the apparent ease of those around her, Ella did not miss the smallest details: the carefully arranged displays, the friendly smiles of passers-by. Yet even in this familiar and safe environment, an unexpected and painful reality awaited her. In the shoe boutique, where the bright display lighting contrasted with the soft, ambient light of the interior, Ella carefully examined the sneaker models. After years of service, she had grown accustomed to noticing even the slightest details, whether it was a misaligned pattern or an imperfect stitch on a new product. At that moment, a few uneven steps near the entrance gave her a slight, uneasy premonition. Even in a place as familiar as this, unforeseen dangers might be lurking. Suddenly, Ella's attention shifted to a figure at the entrance. It was Officer Victor Hunter, a middle-aged man with a stern appearance and a piercing gaze. His reputation was well known: hasty judgments, rigidity in his opinions, and numerous complaints of racial bias. Although Hunter was off duty at that moment, his service badge and the pistol at his hip were constant reminders of his past career and his tendency to wield authority for personal ends. Victor slowly entered the shopping center, as if listening to the soft music emanating from the speakers, all the while watching Ella intently. His gaze swept over her confident stride, and every minute of her presence became a reason for suspicion. Memories of past incidents and his own stereotypes quickly intertwined, and prejudice took hold. While Ella was choosing a new pair of sneakers, Victor pretended to be occupied with checking his smartphone, yet his thoughts remained fixed on her. After she completed her purchase, a young cashier, having noticed a slight tremor in Ella's voice, tried to maintain a calm atmosphere as she quickly processed the transaction. Ella, having handed over her credit card, paused for a moment when her eyes met Victor's cold, determined stare at the entrance. That moment, laden with a sense of impending trouble, made her heart beat faster, though she tried not to betray any sign of alarm. As soon as Ella left the store with her neatly packaged purchase, Victor stepped out of the shadows. Approaching her with a clear intent to initiate a dialogue, he said in a harsh, abrupt tone, "Excuse me, ma'am. I need to ask you a few questions." Ella raised an eyebrow and responded calmly, "What's the matter, officer? Your behavior seems suspicious to me." Without taking his hand off his holster, Victor attempted to explain, but his words carried a note of irritation. "You don't seem to belong here." At that moment, a heavy silence fell over the shopping center, as if the very atmosphere had paused before the impending storm. Accustomed to extreme situations, Ella reacted immediately. "I was just buying shoes," she said, gripping her bag tightly. "Your behavior is unacceptable." Victor's face contorted with anger as he frowned, and he commanded, "Show me your identification, please. Why are you behaving this way?" With clarity and determination, Ella asked, "Have I done something wrong?" With every word she uttered, the tension grew. Victor tightened his grip on his pistol, and the atmosphere around them shifted instantly. Before the eyes of onlookers, a genuine conflict unfolded. People stopped to watch. Mothers clutched their children. In-store employees quickly hid behind counters, unsure how to react to such an unpredictable situation. Despite her heart pounding furiously, Ella maintained the calm she had honed over years of service. Carefully, yet without losing her dignity, she slowly raised her hands in an effort to defuse the situation. "Lower your weapon and put the bag on the floor, officer," she insisted, allowing no sign of fear. In response, Victor, overcome by prejudice and the desire to assert his correctness, roared loudly, "Don't tell me what to do!" At that moment, refusing to let fear prevail, Ella firmly stated, "Officer, I am Major General Ella Rodriguez of the U.S. Army. I suggest you lower your weapon, even if just for a moment, so you can realize who you are dealing with." Her words rang out like an order, filled with the strength and experience accumulated over years of service in extreme conditions. At that very moment, a young man emerged from the crowd holding a smartphone and declared loudly, "You are really aiming your pistol at a hero." Victor's face instantly flushed, and his voice became less confident. "Enough! Get out of here!" he shouted. But it was already too late. Many people, drawn by the sudden escalation, pulled out their phones to capture the unfolding events. Ella looked at Victor's badge and, with cold determination, declared, "You are about to make the biggest mistake of your career." Observing the unfolding events, the shopping center's security staff hurried to assist. Their faces turned pale at what they saw, and one of the guards loudly demanded, "Officer Hunter, cease your actions immediately." The situation became critical. New voices emerged in the crowd. Someone was calling the police, while others tried to break up the conflict. Soon, the shopping center manager and a police captain, who had been shopping nearby by chance, arrived at the scene. It was Captain Denise Harper, a confident yet strict middle-aged woman with deep eyes that conveyed both firmness and genuine concern for justice. Approaching Ella and Victor, Captain Harper immediately began addressing the situation. "General Rodriguez, explain what happened," she requested in a firm yet fair tone. Gathering her thoughts, Ella briefly explained the essence of the conflict. Her calm but resolute tone sharply contrasted with Victor's irritated attempts to justify his actions. After carefully assessing the situation, Captain Harper turned to Victor and said, "Drop your weapon, Officer Hunter," she commanded, her voice resonating like an unavoidable verdict. Realizing that justice and order prevailed, the officer reluctantly complied, gradually lowering his weapon. Over the next few tense minutes, the shopping center staff coordinated their efforts to defuse the conflict and ensure everyone's safety. Meanwhile, Ella, still standing there, felt a mixture of bitter resentment and unwavering conviction in the righteousness of her cause stirring within her soul. Her voice, filled with determination, rang out once again as she addressed the gathered crowd. "Today we witnessed how prejudices and stereotypes can affect the lives even of those who have served their country faithfully and honorably. This incident is not only a personal tragedy, but also a reminder that the fight against racism never ends." These words, spoken with power and conviction, immediately resonated in the hearts of those present. The video of the incident, recorded by eyewitnesses, quickly spread across social networks, sparking a storm of discussion and outrage throughout the country. In the days that followed, Officer Hunter's name became the focal point of a scandal involving allegations of racial profiling. Officials were forced to respond. It soon emerged that Victor Hunter had been suspended without pay, pending a thorough investigation into all the circumstances of the incident. The public, having witnessed a clear example of injustice, expressed overwhelming support for Major General Ella Rodriguez, who had become a symbol of the fight against prejudice and abuse of power. In an interview with national media, Ella stated that this incident affected not only her, but countless others who lacked the means to stand up for their rights. She called on society to remain vigilant and refuse to be silent in the face of injustice. "Today, I have spoken out not only for myself, but for those who have been marginalized by prejudice. We must unite and demand accountability from those who are entrusted with upholding the law. Only then can we build a society where everyone feels protected, regardless of the color of their skin or their social status." The incident at the shopping center became a turning point. In the weeks that followed, public protests and discussions emerged, aimed at eradicating racial prejudice within the police. Ella recibió numerosas cartas y mensajes de apoyo de ciudadanos, veteranos y organizaciones de derechos humanos. Her speeches at various forums became a symbol of a new face in the struggle for justice and equality. Meanwhile, Victor Hunter's fate became the subject of widespread public debate about how even members of law enforcement can succumb to biased attitudes and the importance of preventing such incidents in the future. The city administration promised to conduct a detailed investigation and review internal procedures to ensure that such incidents do not occur again. Thus, the story of Major General Ella Rodriguez, which began as an ordinary day of shopping, turned into a powerful public signal. It reminded everyone that true strength and authority are not born from rank or external attributes, but from inner integrity, courage, and the willingness to stand by one's principles even in the most difficult situations. This story continues to live on in the hearts of people, inspiring them to fight against injustice and strive to create a society where everyone feels equal and protected. By uniting our efforts, we can change the world for the better and ensure that such incidents remain only as sad memories of the past.